Hello and welcome to Cablevision's Extra Help. I'm Leon Goodman. Wow, I cannot believe it's Friday already. Well, since it's Friday, that means it's time for You're the Expert. Every Friday, viewers are invited down to our studios, whether it's knitting or whittling or whatever. If it can be shown on TV and we like it, we'll have you on. And while we're on the air, you can call our toll-free number 1-800-EXT-HELP and talk to us. Or you can reach us by fax. Now that number is 516-596-0715. And now it's time for You're the Expert with your host, Bill Polchinski.
Thank you. Good evening. Happy Memorial Day weekend, and a big salute to all our servicemen who have served the country so proudly. Welcome to You're the Expert. I'm your host, Bill Polchinski. Tonight we have arts and crafts. We got a lot of fun. We have 2 hours of educational entertainment crammed into 120 minutes. So stay right where you are. Get those VCRs on now because you're not going to want to miss any of this stuff. Tonight in the studio we have flower baskets. We have stained glass, we have children's furniture painting. And in the second half of our show, of course, we have Tom Berry with golf, Rick Elstein with tennis, and we have indoor rock climbing and inline skating. So we got a lot of fun, a lot of stuff to do. I'll be answering some of the questions that weren't answered during the week. But before I begin, I'd like to say last week was our first show. A lot of people called in, they enjoyed the show, a lot of people wrote, sent telegrams, faxes, all that stuff. Like Leon said, if you're watching, if you're an expert, please give us a call, give us a fax, let us know what you want to know, tell us what you know, stuff like that there. But anyway, people were writing in and they were saying, okay, so you're the host of You're the Expert, meaning me. What are you an expert at? Well, I'm glad they all asked that question because I happen to be an expert at big things. My thing is to drive around Long Island and look for big things, and there are plenty of big things, and I'd like to show you some of the big things I've found on Long Island. Can I go to the telestrator over here? Okay, what do we have first here? Memorial Day weekend is coming up, and what we want to do is, oh, well, you're over there. Hello. It's Memorial Day weekend. It's going to be hot. The beaches are going to be crowded. There's nothing like a big Italian ice to really make you feel comfortable, cool you off in this hot weather. Now, the first thing that we see here is you've seen the small size Italian ice, medium size, large. Well, this is the neighborhood size Italian ice. You could see this stands well over 5 feet. Whoops, there you go. And this can be found in the beautiful burg of Ronkonkoma, Long Island. Yep. And that's our Italian ice. That's our first big thing. The next big thing we have is the giant tomato guy, and he's in Sound Beach, New York. Now, what he does, I'm not exactly sure, and whether he has anything to do with all the king's horses or all the king's men. But you can see he's, well, let's pretend he's juggling. Look at that. 3 at once. Ho! Let's make it 4. Talented kind of guy. He's juggling little tomatoes. It's raining tomatoes in Sound Beach. For those of you who just tuned in, stay with it. Okay, that's our tomato guy, big tomato guy. Our next graphic up here, you know when you're driving down the highway and you see something up ahead and you steer to avoid it, it's, you know, could be something that fell off a car like a muffler. Well, this next shot here shows you that some mufflers get really big so you can see them further on down the road. This muffler is about 6 feet, and you can't hear a sound when your car has one of these mufflers. So if you're driving down the road and 2 miles up ahead you see something in the middle of the highway, I suggest you take the exit ramp prior to this big thing and get yourself off the road. Now, our last big thing, say you're out in the farm working hard all day and you really work up a thirst. Now you go back to the barn and you're really thirsty and you get out your giant drinking cup. So what do you look for? Of course, a giant faucet. Now this faucet Whoops. Let me try that again. This I have depth perception problems here. This faucet was on a barn in Calverton, New York. I don't think it's there anymore. Vandals, you know. But whenever you're thirsty, you're on the farm, you need a drink, that's where you go, to the giant faucet, conveniently located off Route 25 in Calverton. Actually, there is another one in Centereach, and it has a white handle on it. So if you didn't get to see the one on the barn in Calverton, check out the one in Centereach. Oh, here's the biggest thing of all. How scary, how horrible. Let's see if I can stand still here and stay there. There you go. There you go. I can't get in there. Wait. Well, let's try this. There you go. Look at that. One morning I shot an elephant in my pajamas. How I got my pajamas, I don't know. This is live TV at its best, boys and girls. You're the expert, so that's what I'm an expert at, big stuff. Aren't you glad you asked? That'll stop the letters and faxes right then and there. And if you have any calls while any of this is going on, please call us at our toll-free number, 1-800-EXT-HELP, or fax us at 516-596-0715. Right now, I'd like to answer a couple of questions that were left over from the Consumer Issues Show, which is seen Mondays, 7 p.m. with Lois Schmidt. The first question is, someone has trouble establishing credit. They see an ad from a company eliminating problems with their credit rating. Should they use these companies? Well, Lois Schmidt says no, no way. If the information in your credit report is false, you have to contact the creditor and let them know, the credit agency. You have to tell them that the information is wrong and they've got to do something to straighten it all out. If you pay a company to try to change this information, you're just paying money that you would get the service for free. Does that make any sense? I hope so. And if the information isn't false, if you've got bad credit, then a company is not going to be able to come in and change that around. So stay away from companies that promise to fix up your credit for you. One more question here. Are free trips legitimate? Well, again, Lois Schmidt says in most cases the answer is no. If you get what is referred to as a free trip, you'll usually end up paying more for hotel, more for entertainment, meals, things like that. You might get free airfare, but then they jack up the hotel price 3 or 4 times, and you're not getting any kind of deal. So stay away from free trips. Those are our over questions from Consumer Issues. What we're going to do right now is cut to an interstitial, and then we're going to be back with our first guest. She is on the Homemakers Council in Wantagh, and she's a program specialist for the Nassau County Girl Scouts. Her name is Nina Pesce. She's going to show us how to make a spring flower basket. We'll be right back with You're the Expert.
Identification card contains a photo of the employee as well as his or her name and company ID number. If you're not sure who's working on the utility poles near your home, you can quickly determine whether he's a Cablevision employee or authorized contractor. And don't hesitate to ask for the ID card of a Cablevision employee who comes to your home. Employee ID cards help keep you informed. Cablevision, get to know us. We've got a lot to offer.
Take cable away, and what have we got? Well, no cable, no HBO. No HBO, no comic relief. No comic relief, no $28 million for the homeless. No cable, no TNT. No TNT, virtually no place to see this. I got music. But you wouldn't got it because you wouldn't get cable. And no cable, no Nick at Night. No Nick at Night, no Get Smart. And that's not the only way you wouldn't get smart, because no cable, no CNN. No way to get some of the best news in the world. Okay, cable. It's everything television can be.
Hello, welcome back to You're the Expert. Our first guest was born in Brooklyn, yes. And she's here as our first expert of the evening. She's going to show us how to make spring flower baskets. Please welcome Nina Pesce. Hello, Nina. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good to have you. You got a lot of stuff here.
Yes, stuff. That's exactly why I chose the spring basket, because George Carlin years ago had an album, A Place for Your Stuff, and all of us have a lot of stuff. If you're like me, that is. We have a lot of stuff around our houses. So a friend of mine said, the secret to hiding your stuff is a basket. So I brought with me today a pocket basket for your stuff. And I'd like to decorate it, if I may.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
What is all this stuff that you
here,
have,
yes.
and what does it do?
Okay, this is Spanish moss. It comes in a bag in the craft department of your store. I like to use a glue gun. My adage is, if we can glue it, we can do it, because I don't sew. And if you're using your own craft glue and it gets sticky inside, you can always put some white vinegar to make it pliable again. But if you're going to use a glue gun, the first thing you should do is cream your hands with hand cream.
All right, let me show what we have here.
Okay.
We have, this is called tacky glue.
Right. Tacky glue.
And this is hand cream.
Any kind of hand cream.
Any kind of hand cream will do.
Right. And that prevents the glue from sticking to your hands and burning your fingers very badly, which we all know, if we have ever used glue guns, that all of us don't have any fingerprints left, because indeed that happens.
Are you a member of the NRA?
Yes.
For this glue gun?
Yes, actually.
Are you going to turn in your membership?
Yes, actually. And the FBI could probably never find me because I have no fingerprints left. Okay,
Jack
so we're going to...
helmeted, yes.
Glue guns stick very quickly. The glue dries very quickly. Therefore, we're going to do it in stages. We're going to put some Spanish moss like this around the basket, and then we're going to continue with another little batch right here. And I'm just using a lid of a can for my for the part that's holding my glue gun. You know, just
yep.
a little lid is just fine.
Lid.
A lid.
Whoops.
Lid from any kind of can. Okay, so we're putting our Spanish moss across here like this.
And what kind of stores are we looking for Spanish moss? And,
any kind of craft stores on Long Island, like, can we use names?
Sure. We name names on this program.
Well, Fabric Bonanza or Michael's or Frills and Things in Belmore, which they've known me for years. Okay, so we put some Spanish moss on first. Then simply buy yourself some silk flowers. This project works great with the dried flowers as well. And I've popped some off with the stems and all. We're going to use everything. We're going to use the greens, and we're going to just put some here. Once again, everything works very quickly with a glue gun, so work as fast as you can.
Wow. How fast does that dry?
Very fast. It does. It takes minutes, really. I mean, a moment, actually.
How hot is that hot glue?
Oh,
I noticed you just got some on your finger there.
But you know, it's really funny because I just learned this trick recently. Because I put the cream on, it's drying immediately, and it's not even hurting me much.
So you say...
No, it isn't really.
It's a G. Gordon Liddy kind of thing.
No,
I can put glue all over my dozen bottles.
I always teach my students not to peel it off when it's dry, when it's wet, because so comes your finger skin. The skin comes with it, and that's not a good thing. No, it's not a good thing to happen. Okay, so we're doing this all around here, very simply, very quickly.
That is quick.
Yeah. Okay, and we're using all the flowers of our little bushes.
Those flowers look a little stiff, and maybe you should water them before you make this basket.
I know, it's true. It's true. As I say, it looks very good with dried flowers as well. Okay, we'll just use a few more here, and then I want to show you this wonderful bow that's very easy to do. It's called the collar bow.
Collar bow?
Yes, the collar bow, because it looks like a collar. And you can remember it that way. All right, one more in the front, I think, and we can have this just about done.
I saw the collar purple once.
Yes, that was a very good name. All right, now.
Oh.
Now, the collar, by the way, if you're using paper twist looks like this in the store. And it comes like this. But, yes.
Hold that up for the camera there. This is a paper twist?
Yes, that's called paper twist.
Now what happens with this thing?
Now, if you're doing a craft with paper twist, it takes an awful long time to untwist this. So the secret to paper twist is to get a plastic bag, cut the sizes of the pieces that you need, and mist it with water, and then close up the bag, and in an hour, it starts to untwist all by itself.
Oh,
it's actually all by itself. And then it looks just like this when it comes out.
Unbelievable.
Yes, and it's very pliable. It's very good. Now the collar bow, you can remember how to make it because it really looks like a woman's collar around her neck. Okay, so you put this piece like this, and you see, and this is a great bow for any kind of ribbon that has a pattern just on one side and not on the other, because everything is face forward. So we're just going to crisscross it like this, and we're going to take it and squeeze it down and crimp it like this, and that already becomes the first part of the bow. And then the other piece, this one is a 36-inch piece. This is a 20-inch piece. And we're going to just take this one and put it into a tube-like effect. And with the seam side down, we're going to press it like this. And we're going to put it like this. That becomes the second part of the bow with 2 tiers now.
Oh, it's really easy.
And it is, really. And then this one is a 5-inch piece, and we're going to make it into a little tube again. And we're going to put it like this. And we're going to get a little piece of wire and put it through the whole thing like this.
And wrap it around.
Wrap it around the back.
Remember, callers, if you're interested in any of this stuff, if you have any questions, if you have anything to add, please let us know. Give us a call, 1-800-EXT-HELP.
Okay, and now we're putting some glue on the back of our bow, and we're putting it up here, and squeezing it real tight on the top right there. And you have a basket for your stuff.
Stuff. That's great. Can I feel these?
Yeah.
Yeah, these are pretty well stuck on here.
Yeah, yeah, and it's really dry by the time you want to give it as a gift. If we want to talk about glue sticks, I forgot to mention, glue sticks come in 2 kinds of glue sticks, clear and frosted. The clear ones are not as good as the frosted because this has more adhesive in it.
Ooh.
So if there's a sale, always go for the ones that are frosted.
Frosted glue sticks.
Right, right. And that's about it. Oh, and to clean off a hot glue gun, get yourself a fabric softener sheet, and while it's hot, you can simply clean off your glue gun, and it becomes very clean. All the glue gets off.
Why a fabric softener
I don't know.
sheet?
There must be something in it, actually, that adheres to the glue.
Can you get burned while you're doing that?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, you can. But not if you have hand cream on. It works very well.
Viewers who are doing this along with you, realizing that as they're wiping this off.
Very hot, yes.
Burning
Very
their fingers.
hot, very hot.
Jeez.
Indeed. And I have a lovely little poem. Can I read my crafter's poem?
It's crafter's
poem. It's called The Crafter's Lament. The sink is full of dishes, and the beds are yet unmade. Forgotten are the wishes of my family, I'm afraid. My mending basket overflows, my poor husband has no shirt. I really should wash out some clothes and do a little work. But at my workbench I am busy, and as happy as a king, for I am busy crafting, and I have to do my thing.
How about that? That's great. Did you write that yourself?
No, actually it's an author unknown.
Author unknown, so you might as well take credit.
I could.
Cross out author unknown and write Nina Pesce in there.
I guess
That's
so.
great. So how did you get started in all this stuff?
Well, about 10 years ago, I made a fabric album for a friend of mine, and she had lunch with the secretary of Adult Ed, Belmar Merrick Adult Ed, continuing Adult Ed, and she invited me to start teaching classes at the high school there, at the junior high school. And since then, Wanta High School, I teach at, and some of the local libraries, North America Library and Clark Botanical Gardens I've been teaching. So my adage is if we can glue it, we can do it, because I don't sew, and my glue gun is always by my side.
You don't sew?
No, no.
Any crafts that you do?
If we can, that's it.
How about clothing repair? Do you do that with
I actually
glue?
made this whole outfit, glue gun, the entire thing, yeah. No, I'm only kidding.
I believe you. You're the expert, so I believe anything that you tell me.
I didn't really.
Now, you're involved with the Nassau County Girl Scouts as a program specialist.
Yes.
Now, I'm a program specialist on this program.
That's impressive, doesn't it? Yes.
What does a program specialist do for the Girl
Indeed.
Scouts?
What does a program specialist do? No,
That
the
is
program
the question.
department is the department of the Girl Scouts that comes up with the creative ideas to keep girls involved and happy and excited and staying in scouting. And as program specialist, I go to many of the events which the Girl Scouts go to attend, and I implement all the parts, evaluate and implement all the parts to it.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to do with cookies?
Well,
Do you
I
glue?
might have a few boxes if you'd like to buy a few.
Really? We have Girl Scout cookies.
Always, always. Yes, so it's a very interesting job, and I get to meet a lot of interesting people. We do a program at Old Bethpage Restoration Village in the spring, and Overspray Gardens, and we do a lot of interesting things that girls enjoy.
Busy.
Yes.
And this creation over here?
This I made for our Memorial Day services. This is a hoop for Memorial Day. And I taught this recently at one of the local high schools. I'll be teaching it next week, as a matter of fact, as well, in Wantagh. And it's very simple and quick, and again, glueable. And the Homemakers Council of Nassau County, of which I am the president of the Wantagh chapter, has taught me a lot and given me the confidence to be able to teach. So this is just a gift to you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much,
You're
Nina.
Welcome. My pleasure.
Nina Pesce, ladies and
Thank
gentlemen,
you.
our expert with her beautiful spring flower baskets. We're going to take a look at Alice Ferrara working with stained glass. She's an expert. She's been doing it since the 60s, and we're going to be talking to her in the studio. But first, let's take a look at her home video of working with stained glass.
Hello, I'm Alice Ferrara, and I teach stained glass at Farmingdale High School, Bethpage High School, and Plainedge Junior High. I'm going to show you some of the tools you'll be using while you're doing your stained glass. This is a pattern scissor, a running plier, combination breaker, sieve, a brush for your flux, foil, flux, Fletcher cutter, a handheld cutter, which is great for senior citizens and people that don't have much strength in their hands, solder, patina, soldering iron, stained glass soldering iron, and last but not least, a stained glass grinder. On this board, I have fan lamps that I've previously cut out because I'm limited to the amount of time I have to show you how to make it. Here are a pattern of the shell fan lamp that I'm going to show, that I show you here how to make. Here is another pattern which is already been cut out. Each one of these have been numbered and have an arrow going in one direction. The reason being, if you have a design in your glass, you want it all to go in the same direction. So by putting the arrow on, all of them will go in one direction. This first one has been cut, fitted, and is ready to foil. The second one here has been all foiled and ready to solder. The third one here I have soldered, and if you look on the right-hand side, it's copper, the rest is silver. The copper side is the patina I showed you, which comes in 4 different colors. Comes in copper, comes in gold, comes in black, and it comes in silver. If you wanted to change the color of the solder, you can use any one of these patinas, which are used by putting it on with a nice soft rag and just rubbing it into the solder. On the table you'll see 4 fan lamps that I've made to give you an idea of the different bases that they have and the different types of glass that you can put on them. The first one is a wooden base, and it has a hummingbird with a flower. This wooden base is great for holidays where you can make a turkey and just set it in for Thanksgiving, a Santa Claus for Christmas, and different ones for different holidays in the year. This is an Art Nouveau head with the circle piece of glass. This is the shell fan lamp that I showed you how to make, and in the last one is a caliber. All of these lamps and the bases can be purchased at the Stained Glass Workshop in Syosset on Jericho Turnpike. I send most of my students up to Jerry, and they buy their glass and their supplies at the store. And Jerry will also walk them through any problem they might have in between classes. If you are not living in the Syosset area and you want to learn how to do stained glass, you can look into the yellow pages under stained glass, and there are multiple listings there, and I'm sure any one of them would be happy to teach you or to sell you supplies. Happy cutting, and thank you.
Thank you, Alice. That's beautiful. Welcome back to You're the Expert. What work. Unbelievable. Stained glass. We have in the studio with us Alice Ferrara. She's right here. Mother of 7, grandmother of 9, soon to be 10. One on the way. When is this new bundle due? June. Due in June. That's great. Well, how did you get started in stained glass? I understand you've been doing it since the 60s. Now,
Right.
were you a hippie in the 60s? And no, not at all?
No.
How did you get started?
Well, I did all kinds of crafts, and I had painted an owl, and some woman in a motor vehicle saw the owl, and she says to me, Alice, you have to take up stained glass. So every day that I went to register cars for Chevrolet, she yelled, did you go and take up stained glass? So I got embarrassed because everybody started every time I walked in, have you taken up stained glass? So I went and I took it up, and I've been doing it ever since.
And this was at Motor Vehicles Bureau?
Right, in Hicksville.
Well, they yell at me at motor vehicles, but they never yell about stained glass, that's for sure. And now I understand you're certified to teach and repair.
Right.
Now, who certifies you, and how do you become qualified to do that?
You have to go and go to high school, college, and a certain amount of years of working on stained glass before they will give you a certification.
That's unbelievable. And you've done all that.
Right.
And you do this beautiful work. Can you tell us, you brought some of your tools here, can you tell us a little bit about the steps in between? You showed us how to begin by drawing the patterns and cutting out the glass, and then you showed us the finished product. Somewhere in between, the magic takes place. Can you tell us what happens there?
Yes, first you cut out a pattern. You have 2 of them, and you number them, and you put an arrow so that if you have a glass that's got a design in it that you want everyone to go into one direction. After you cut it, then you will grind. There's a glass grinder somewhere around here where if you have burrs or something, you just grind it and fit the pieces. After all the pieces are fitted, you foil them with the foil. I can't find that either, so it must be out in the other room.
Curses, foiled again.
You foil it, and after it's foiled, you tack solder it, and then you flux all the pieces, and you solder it, and you put a raised bead on it.
Now, what is foiling? You have all your pieces, they're all cut out like puzzle pieces.
Right, and when they're all fitted, there's a foil, which is a tape, because solder will not adhere to glass without the tape.
I see.
And you foil it, and you foil each one of the pieces, and then you tack solder them together. And after you tack solder them together, you solder all the seams.
And you come up with beautiful products.
Right.
We have a caller on the line. It's Mike from Lynbrook. Mike, where are you?
Hi, I'm doing pretty good, actually. I got a question for you about the stained glass. Mm-hmm. Okay. Where do you get the colors from? And more importantly, can you mix colors to get different textures? Or not textures, colors?
No, the glass comes in different colors. You have hundreds and hundreds of colors to pick from. You don't have to do no staining. You don't have to do anything to it. You just go into a stained glass store and you decide you're going to make a project. And there comes in an easy and medium and hard to cut glass. If you're just doing it, I would suggest you ask for an easy cutting glass. You get the same thing in all the different grades of glass. And they're already colored. The lamps that you see standing, that you saw on the TV, that's all colored before I cut it.
So you can't go back and, like, in any way, you don't get crystals or anything like that to kind of fill in the panes. You just have to cut them to shape?
Right.
Ah, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mike from Lynbrook. Is it raining where you are? Oh, he's gone already. Well, what else do you have there in your bag of tricks? You've got all kinds of goodies. What are some of the tools that we need here, and how does one get started?
Get started, you can go to adult education, or you can go into a stained glass store, and they will teach you how to do the craft.
And you teach adult ed in Plain Edge, Bethpage, and don't tell me Farmingdale.
And let's see, this here is a polish. After a finished product, if you want to change the solder to a different color, this here will buff it up and shine it.
Just like our show.
This is a copper patina after the piece is done.
Okay.
If you want to change it, there's 4 different colors it comes into. It's gray, black, copper and gold. You can change the solder to those colors.
Oh.
This is a rheostat.
So that's how they get the color. I thought it was real gold that we were using in between the windows here.
This is a rheostat for your soldering iron. If I usually don't use it, but there are people that can't take the heat and they don't move fast enough, so you can lower the temperature so that you can work at your own pace.
Hey, if they can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. That's wonderful. Look at this thing.
Is a pattern shears. If you're going to make a window and you don't want it to graduate in size, if you have a certain size window and you want it to fit in it, if you don't use a pattern shear, this cuts 1/8 of an inch off of your pattern. It's got a groove in here, and it will make the piece fit into your window. If you're using a regular one, your window will graduate and you won't be able to get it in. So when you use a pattern shear, if you want it to stay the size of the pattern. This here is a running plier. When you score the glass and you want to make a straight line,
oh, sorry. I can't help myself.
You would put this here line on the top, and wherever the score mark started, just put it on in there and just slightly press, and it will make the glass run without breaking it by hand.
What a bag of tricks.
This is flux, which makes the solder adhere to the foil. This here is a breaker, combination breaker. When
if you
score
throw that through a window, it'll definitely break it.
Right.
Yes.
But the idea is you just take it, hold it this way, and hold the glass, and just pull it and twist your wrist up, and it will break the glass out.
So in other words, you would
if you
score with a scoring tool of some sort.
You cut it with a cutter. There's two different cutters here.
Oh, glass cutter.
This is a handheld cutter. I use it because I got arthritis, and if senior citizen, if they don't have enough pressure to press down, it takes very little pressure to cut, and it swivels from one side to the other and up and down.
Very handy.
So it makes life easy. And this is a water-soluble glue stick. There are different ways of teaching stained glass. This is the way I was taught, so I teach my students. You cut out your pattern and you want to put it on the glass. The second pattern that you cut out, you just put it around the edges and put it on the glass, and it stays. You cut out your pattern, and then if it needs any shaping, you can go right to the grinder with the paper on, and you know where you're going to grind it off.
It's a glue stick kind of knife here at You're the Expert.
It's a water-soluble glue, and you can get it in any store. This here is the solder, and it comes in 50-50, 60-40, and I always use 60-40 because it's got less.
What does 60-40 mean?
It's got
60
50-50
polyester,
is
40.
got 50% lead, and the other is tin. The 60-40 is 40% lead and 60% tin. And I use that because you're not inhaling as much solder fumes with this one as you do on the 50-50. And the solder flows easier with the 60-40.
So asbestos flux would be out of the question. You don't want to work with that at all? Okay. It's good to know.
And this here is wheel lubricant, which you keep to put your cutters in. And when you're scoring the glass, you dip it in there. It keeps the wheel clean and lubricated.
What happens if the wheel isn't lubricated and you're going along scoring?
It doesn't score too well.
Do you run the danger of breaking the glass?
No. There's very little. People think that glass breaks very easily. And I always say there's two ways of breaking glass. One is with a cutter, and the other one is dropping it. It's very simple once you get the knack and taught how to cut it. You will always cut an inside cut first, because that's where you have the most, it's the weakest part of the glass when you're cutting into the glass. So if you have a piece of glass that has an inside cut, you always cut the inside cut first, because it will keep it from breaking.
We're going to take a look at your finished products, which we have up next to our flower baskets. And can you tell us a little bit about what we'll be looking at there? We're on that monitor over there.
I put the hummingbird into the wooden frame because you can take that one out and the frame will hold just about anything. And they have so many patterns for fan lamps that if you want to decorate a table for Easter, you can make a rabbit and stand them in the slot. Mm-hmm. At Thanksgiving, you can make a turkey and put it on your centerpieces.
So this is an all-purpose lamp that you can change from season to season.
You can put any type of lamp in the wooden frame. And there's a lot of people that don't like Art Nouveau, which the woman is, and they like more modern, so you can make a more modern frame, lamp in that there frame, where the other one, it's more Art Nouveau and traditional furniture.
Yeah, we're looking at the Art Nouveau woman, and well, we are. Pete from Westbury, you're on the phone.
Am I on? Hello?
Hello, yes, you're on.
I have a question. How much does it cost to start something like this? Like a basic, starter's kit?
A basic starter kit for glass, which will do you about 3 projects. Your grinder and all the rest of the stuff that you need will cost you anywhere from $115 to $125, and then you're ready to do anything. You can make your windows or anything else. That includes all of your grinder, your running pliers, your breakers, your solder, your flux, everything that you need to get going.
So with a basic kit, I can make a window or...
You can make anything.
Oh, great. All right, thanks.
You're welcome.
Oh, are you gone? Yes, he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
You're certified to repair stained glass. What kind of projects have you been asked to repair?
I've repaired windows, I've repaired lamps, I've repaired just about anything.
What's the biggest job you ever had? Did you have to climb up the side of a church or something and do a big window?
No, the biggest job I had, I repaired 3 big windows that were made years and years ago for a woman in Oceanside. And I repaired several windows for a man up on Fifth Avenue, real old windows. With your cutter, you just score it and then take the piece out and take the tape away from the other solder if it's soldered. If it's with the cane, you just have to replace the cane if it's broken, or if it's not broken, just slice it so that it comes away from it and put it right back where it was, and then fill it up with putty.
If someone brings you a Tiffany lamp, say, does that change the value of the lamp? Say they've broken one of the panels, or one of the...
And it depends. If you have one that's been slumped, which is rounded, like, you've got a lamp that's rounded like this and the glass is rounded, that gets expensive because it's around $50 to have a piece of glass slumped to fit it back into it. But if you have a regular Tiffany lamp where the pieces go in, you know how they come around like this and they go up like this, if there are little pieces that are going in there, you can usually cut them out right away and put them right back in. So it depends on what kind of repair you want.
Well, Alice, thank you so much for being on the program. This is a wonderful art. You're a wonderful artist. And people can find you at Bethpage, Farmingdale, or Plain Edge High Schools teaching continuing ed if someone wants to get started in stained glass. You also have other hobbies. You also do silk flower arrangements, ceramics, and the murals that were shown in the video. You've painted them yourself. Wonderful having you on the program. Thanks so much, and please come back and see us again.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to, oh, you can stay right here. We're just, make yourself at home. I'm just going to answer a couple more questions. This is from our computer show that's seen Wednesday night, 7 o'clock with Mark Glass. Isn't that nice the way I did that with stained glass and Mark Glass? I wonder if they're related. And this is the computer show, an overview question, a question which wasn't answered during the week. Question is, how much random access memory, or RAM, memory do I need? And the answer is, as a minimum, 8 megabytes. 8 megabytes. That's the minimum that you need to have a happy computer life. And the other question for computers, and as Mark Glass says, I don't do Windows, I do Quark Express. What is multimedia on a computer? And the answer is, multimedia is defined as a combination of sound, graphics, animation, text, and video. It's everything. When your computer does everything, that's what multimedia graphics are. A computer is considered a multimedia personal computer, or an MPC, when it is capable of doing a combination of 2 or more multimedia tasks. In order for a computer to produce clear, reasonable sound in stereo, a sound card is needed in the PC. The video cards that come with all new computers, and most PCs made within the last 3 years is fine for graphics, animation, and video. That is what a multimedia computer is. And if you get the Stephen King multimedia computer, a hairy hand comes out of the screen, grabs you by the throat, and pulls you into your own computer. Stay away from that one if you can. We have a caller on the line, and that's Jennifer from Brooklyn. Hello, Jennifer.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Do you have a question for Alice while she's here? Oh,
I
wonderful.
do have a question. I would like to know if she has videos on doing this glass work.
If she has what?
Videos that you could
videos.
purchase and, you know, go by the instructions she gives.
Do you have any videos available of your own teaching?
No.
What you would need to do is take a course, I believe, in stained glass work.
Yes.
Do you know of any videos available?
Now, they have some in the stained glass stores that they have videos of showing how to do different things. I would suggest you get in touch with one of the stained glass stores. They sell the videos on them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Yes, and as Alice said during the video, you can find stained glass in your yellow pages under stained glass. You've been doing this a long time, Alice. It's great to see you have stain power. We're going to take a look at camera 3 of Debbie Imperatore painting on children's furniture. Take a look at this. She's the expert.
Hi, my name's Debbie Imperatore. I'd like to welcome you to my home. I'm going to show you today how to do some simple artwork on children's furniture. For example, toy chests, rocking chairs, step stools. You could even incorporate it on a wall to use as a border or a closet door, or you could even use it for adult furniture. But right now I'm going to emphasize children's furniture and some children's themes that you could paint. First of all, let me show you. You're going to buy yourself some coloring books. Maybe your child has a favorite. Just a few I have: Cinderella, Little Mermaid, Precious Moments. You can get these at any store. Once you select what you'd like to trace, you're going to buy yourself a tracing pad with ordinary tracing paper, as you see here. It comes in a thick sheet. Then you're going to take an ordinary pencil and you're going to select what you want to trace. What I'm doing right here happens to be Snow White. You'll see Snow White there. And then what I do is I take the tracing paper. You can see I've already started this one, so let me try to get it back where I was. You're going to take the tracing paper and you're going to lay it firmly down. And I suggest taping it so this way if you do lift it or move accidentally, you'll be able to trace right back where you started from. And you're going to take your pencil and you could see that you could see an outline. And what you're going to do is you're just going to outline the very outskirts of your picture. It might be a little bit difficult for you to see here on film. And then you put your little details in also. And afterwards, when you're coloring it in, you'll know where those details will go. I think you get the idea of this. So this is what this stage might look like. It's not completed yet, but I have one completed for you. What I did here is I selected Sleeping Beauty with the prince, and I traced it like this. And I put it down over it the same way I showed you before and used the pencil and traced it. I suggest pressing really, really hard, because what you're going to be doing next, after you finish tracing it, is take the item that you're going to be transferring it onto. And you want to make sure that you really rub hard with your pencil, because that pencil is going to be your imprint once you get your item that you select and once you put your paper down. Then what you're going to do is you're going to put your paper down onto wherever you want to position your drawing, and you're going to tape it down again with some Scotch tape. Then you're going to trace back over those same lines that you put on the other side. Now when you rub on the one side with the pencil where the lead is on the other side, it's actually going to make a transfer right on there for you. And as you can see, it's made the transfer. I did it earlier, so this way I could show you what it looks like semi-filled in. It'll actually transfer it, and then once it does transfer it, you're going to take your pencil and go over it a little bit darker for yourself. And look at the picture at the same time so that you could see. Now this one I happen to do it's reversed. But if you wanted to, you could do it the other way, but I did it this way so that I just happened to I like the way it looked. Then what you're going to do is you're going to buy yourself either paints if you're very good with a paintbrush, or I prefer using these deco markers. Now, deco markers are also sold at any hobby shop, paint store, and you're going to take your deco markers or any sort of permanent paint markers. You're going to start your pens, and you're going to fill in the different colors that you want on there. Let's say I'm going to use, the stem is going to be green on the flower. So you'll just fill that in, just like that. It's very, very simple. And you want to make sure that when you do buy the paint markers, that they are non-toxic. And you'll see on the paint markers that they will say non-toxic on them, because you don't want any child, God forbid, if they maybe gum it or lick it or anything, to be licking on toxic paint. And you're just going to fill it in. You're going to follow the picture, what the picture looks like. I happen to make this one pink. This one is red in the book. You could really make it whatever color you like. And then afterwards, what you're going to do is to highlight this, you're going to get yourself a black Sharpie marker. Now I have two different types. I have a regular point, and I have an extra fine point. On this outskirt here, I use extra fine point. You're going to make sure that your work is dry, and then once it's dry, you're going to outline that same technique here as you see in this picture. You're going to do the same thing with your Sharpie marker. And you're going to make those same little stripes in there, and you're going to, it's really very easy. You can't really make a mistake. You're going to copy basically what you see in the picture. Just like that. Now, I've been doing this for quite a while. Practice makes perfect, of course. Now I'm going to show you, once you finish painting something, this was another one that I did. I transferred Beauty and the Beast and colored it in. Now this is Beauty and the Beast that I took from this book right here, and I did the same technique. I traced it, I turned it over, and I transferred it onto my step stool. And as you can see, I've already colored that one in so you can see what it looks like once it's finished. Now you could pick something very simple, you could pick something elaborate. I will show you some other work that's a lot simpler than this. This might be a little bit advanced, but basically anyone can trace. Now, once your work is complete, I'm going to show you what type of a permanent top coat you're going to put on this to preserve it. I'll be back in 1 second with that top coat.
Our phone number is 1-800-EXT-HELP if you have questions for our next guest, Debbie Imperatore. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Good to see you. That's beautiful work. How did you get started? What gave you the idea? That's a brilliant idea.
Well, for the past 15 years, I've been managing and doing artwork in a small gift store on Long Island. And I decided, everyone kept telling me that I should start doing it for myself and from my home, and that's how I got started, basically. I used to doodle on my notebooks in elementary school. My mom used to yell at me. So I guess that stemmed back from there.
Ain't it always the way?
Yeah.
You know, they told Einstein he would, was a washout, would never make anything of himself either. That's great. Did you always start with cartoon characters, or?
No, basically I do flowers, all different. You could really trace any sort of work that you like. Wallpaper, if you have a pattern and you want to continue that throughout the room. Maybe you have a border around the wall and you want to tie that into your child's rocking chair or a table and chairs. You could transfer that right onto your items also.
Mm-hmm. And tracing is the way to go when you're first beginning.
When you're first beginning, yes.
But
of course,
I understand
I've been a little now I'm a pro.
You're a pro and you do all
I don't
this
really
stuff.
trace a lot, but
Freehand.
for people I teach them how to trace so that they could start out.
That's terrific. We have some of your work right here in the studio. We have, shall we take a look at this? This one right here, we have...
This is the one that we showed at home, completed.
This is beautiful. And this is Beauty and the Beast, and is that Cinderella?
Sleeping Beauty and the Prince.
Wait a minute. That's Sleeping Beauty? She's blonde.
Yes, Sleeping Beauty was blonde.
Oh, Sleeping Beauty. I'm thinking of Snow White.
Yes.
Shame on me. Ooh. And
then you could personalize them afterwards. You could print, depending upon how your handwriting is. This one I happen to personalize with my daughter's name on it.
Princess Danielle,
yes,
your little princess.
that?
She's watching us on TV even as we speak. That's unbelievable. And was this done freehand, or was this?
No, this one I transferred to show you how to do it.
This is the one that we showed.
That was the same one that was on the video.
Now we'll take a look at the rocking chair over there. We have Winnie the Pooh and Tigger too. Look at that work. Now, was that freehand? Was that traced?
No, that one happened to be part freehand and part traced.
And you specified non-toxic. They're paint markers. They're not magic markers.
No, they're
There's
permanent acrylic paint markers, and you do want to make sure there are a lot of different brands out there that they are non-toxic, because children will be, you know, God forbid, wetting them or licking them, and you want to make sure that a child doesn't get poisoned. And the same thing with a top coat. After you're finished with all your painting, you're going to want to get yourself a varnish. It comes in a spray, or it comes in a small bottle that you could apply with a paintbrush, and you want to make sure that that also is non-toxic. So this way your beautiful artwork will last forever.
And it doesn't chip, it doesn't scratch, it doesn't.
No, you just wipe it off with a damp cloth to clean it.
The name of the gift shop you worked at was very interesting.
Yes, Yaya's New Eclectic. For the past 15 years, the store has been under 4 different ownerships. As of recently, Yaya is the owner. I'm retired now because I'm a new mommy,
Yes.
and I decided that I'm going to start doing things from home now on my own, because people call me up and want to see my artwork continue. So as of recently, I'm just starting up now to start taking orders and things, but this way I'll start painting again.
That's wonderful. Could you give us any idea what something like these pieces would cost us?
I mean, I would say starting from, you could probably purchase gifts of mine anywhere from $20 and up, personalized with the baby's name, or what I can do is, if it's a shower gift and you don't know the child's name, you don't know whether it's a boy or a girl yet, or you want to do something neutral or match some wallpaper or maybe the bedding, we could leave the name blank, and when the baby's born, I could personalize it with the baby's name, so it makes it extra special.
Or you can just choose a baby's name, and then the parents would have to stick with
That's
it.
right.
Girl or boy. And this is my son, Phyllis.
Yes.
Hello, Phyllis. How are you? You come from an artistic family.
Yes, my dad is a carpenter, does all home repair and carpentry work, beautiful woodworking and wallpapering and painting. He's been doing that for years. And my mother also was very talented with painting, and she wanted to be a designer, but she was a mommy instead.
So it comes naturally to you. And did you take art courses?
Yes, all through high school and college. I was actually a fashion merchandise retailing major, and tried in the fashion district in the city, and decided that I really liked working in a smaller store. So I stuck with the eclectic store, and have wonderful friends because of it over the years. I've built up a wonderful clientele.
I understand, and a lot of those clients are now friends.
Oh yes, I'm invited to beautiful parties, and I got beautiful baby gifts from wonderful customers because I've had relationships with them over the years.
All because of your gift?
I guess you can call me their personal gift consultant. I've been over the years, so they all like my artwork.
Now, have people seen your artwork in the stores and begged you to purchase things that you weren't ready to sell in any way?
No, basically, well, in the store you order things. Things are shown and you order them. A lot of people come in, will bring pieces of wallpaper and ask if we could match it or whatever, which I've done. But like I said, as of now, I'll be doing things from home, so hopefully people out there will want to have some of my work in their home.
And people can get in touch with you through our program, and
yes.
If anyone is out there and wants to give Debbie a call, give a question. I love your name, first of all, Imperator. It reminds me of the He-Man characters like Skeletor, and it sounds Imperator. You know.
Yes, it means king in Italian, I understand.
It does?
Yes.
King. Well, it'd make a great action figure, and think about that.
Yes,
you might
want to
market
that.
Market your own line as well as the furniture and action figures. And what else is on the horizon? How do you like being a new mom?
Oh, I love it. It's a full-time job, that's for sure.
Getting any sleep?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I am. She's a very good girl.
How?
Make time for painting. So she's 4.5 months old.
4.5 months.
Mm-hmm.
Do you paint anything other than furniture?
Oh, yes. I paint walls. We've done murals on walls for friends. You could paint cribs. You could also paint bedding. You could use fabric paints and paint on bedding. Beautiful designs. I painted on clothing. I've had people ask me if I paint on denim jackets, which I have done. Really, I'll paint on anything. I supply the item. If you have your own rocking chair or your own thing that you'd like a little painting on, maybe an heirloom that you have at home, and you want me to match something, I'd, paint on your furniture also. You don't have to, take from my samples.
We'll go anywhere for paint.
Exactly. We'll do anything.
We'll paint for food. Well, this is a lot of fun and beautiful stuff. So you can do furniture, toy chests, dressers,
absolutely,
walls, cribs,
walls, closet doors.
And they have, I'm assuming, non-toxic fabric paints as well.
Yes, they do.
Do you use the same markers that you would use?
No, they're different. It's a looser paint. They come either in a tube or it could also be put on with a paintbrush.
Well, this is wonderful having you on the show, and you have a great talent, and thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you.
And please come back again and show us more stuff.
Absolutely.
This is great. And
thank you.
Video is wonderful. I'd like to thank all of our arts and crafts people who are here, Nina Pesce, Alice Ferrara, and Debbie Imperatore for being here with us on the first part of our program. Coming up in the second half of our program, Tom Berry, our golf pro, and Rick Elstein, our tennis pro, will be here, as well as Mike Chiaffi doing indoor rock climbing and Ellen Ryan doing inline skating. I don't have my questions here with me. We have a couple of more questions coming your way. What we're going to do right now is take a look at what's happened during the week, the best of Extra Help. We have Chuck Berg with home repair, and we have Steve Broncatello, the Bronc, with auto repair. Coming at you on You're the Expert.
Hi, tonight we're going to learn how to replace a ceiling fixture with this nicer looking fixture. Now I already measured the chain, cut it, and so I know how low the lamp's going to hang. Now the first thing you have to do, of course, is turn the power off. And the easiest way to do that is to leave the light on, go downstairs, and turn off the switches until the power is off. Okay, now that the power is off, we're going to remove the old fixture. And there's usually 2 screws holding the fixture in place. Now we can disconnect the old wiring. That one came off. And this one's going to be a little more difficult. This type of hanging fixture needs a crossbar put in place. And it's going to go right across the junction box and screwed in place with the screws you took out before. And before I do that, what I'm going to do is trim off some of this old wire and strip the end so I can put on the new wiring from the lamp. Okay. And you got to make sure that this is firmly in place, because this is what holds all the weight of your fixture. Okay. Okay, now with the crossbar in place and tightly secured to the junction box, we're ready for the next step. Okay, I'm ready now to attach the fixture to the ceiling. Now remove the glass so I don't break it. And also going to make sure now that everything's in place, because once it's screwed in, you can't add anything else later on. So I'm adding the cover now. Now I'm ready to attach this to the threaded pipe on the crossbar. Okay, now before you thread the fixture onto the pipe, you have to thread the wire to the pipe. Just right to the pipe. And now you can begin threading the fixture onto the pipe. And don't be afraid about turning the entire thing. And make sure it's on there tight. This way it'll hold the fixture. Okay, now bring around the wire. Okay. And you're ready to attach the wire to the house wiring. And this is pretty easy because the appliance wire is stranded wire and the house wire is solid. Sometimes when you have a solid wire, you're going to have to use a pair of needle-nose pliers. And after you put the appliance wire onto the house wire, attach some wire nuts. And this will make sure that everything's kept in place. Now, for added security and to keep the wires in place and the nuts in place, we add some electrician's tape. It only needs about 2 inches. Start around by the wire, wrap around the wire and the nut at the same time. And just squeeze it in place. This is great stuff. Now all you have to do is push the wire out of the way, up into the junction box. Now the wires are out of the way, we can put the cover back up and tie it all. Put it in place, bring up the nut, and thread it on. There we go. This particular fixture, the glass globe, comes from the bottom up. Put it in place and held securely with a nut and a little piece of brass. Okay, and there we are. Finished. Now turn the power on.
Okay, an 85 Firebird. I'm not sure if I need we have a problem with the window on the passenger side.
Is it power windows?
Power windows. The door side works fine up and down.
Okay.
The passenger side, when you push the button, the window goes down very, very slowly, extremely slow. Then we can't seem to get the window up, so you have to either hold your hand on the button for the passenger side,
right,
or you have to bang the door a couple of times, or hold your hand on the button and hold your hand on the window. Eventually it will go up.
You have to pull the window up by hand, physically help lift it up?
Yes.
All right, was the car ever in an accident?
Not that I know of.
Okay, a couple of possibilities. One is you could have dirty contacts on a power window button. Are you handy at home, or is your husband handy?
My husband is, yes.
I'm sorry?
My husband is listening. You just can talk to him. Tell
okay.
him.
Hi, husband.
Go ahead. No, he's listening on the television.
Oh, he's listening. Okay.
Right.
All right, if you're handy, you have to remove the door panel off the car. Does he know how to do that?
Everything.
Good.
He did that already.
All right, did you get a can of contact terminal cleaner? You can get it like in a Radio Shack. It's called electrical contact cleaner. Did he try squirting the switch, the contacts on the switch, and the harness that the switch bolts into? Did he try cleaning the contacts on that?
He didn't try that.
Okay, let's go to the telestreamer over here. Perfect. All right, here's our window, here's our door. Now, on a power window, you're going to have, where are we here? Okay. We're going to have a switch like this. And you're going to have your 2 buttons, button and button, okay? On the back side of it, you're going to have your harness coming in with the wires coming out.
I follow you.
Remove the harness, the block right here, going to the switch, so now it's separated. Take your terminal cleaner and spray the terminal cleaner all through this area, so you completely saturate where the wires come into the junction block and where the terminal switch bolts up to the power switch itself. Clean that out completely. Look for signs of green, look for signs of oxidation, look at signs of any kind of condensation that might be inside the switch. If the switch appears clean after you clean the contacts, then you have to go down to the power steering motor, which is, the power window motor, which is located in the bottom of the door. This motor here is probably starting to go weak on you, which means that the drive itself is tired, and maybe the motor would have to be replaced. That would have to be checked out by a body shop or a repair station that handles safety glass or handles windows per se. All right, what I want to do is that to identify your car, first thing you have to identify, do you have a front-wheel drive car or a rear-wheel drive car? In other words, is the car engine pulled from the front wheels, or does it drive the vehicle from the back wheels? Can we get a clear screen here? Okay, there we go. If it's a front-wheel drive car, your car is laid out in this direction. Let's say this is your car. By the way, I went to art school for this. I spent many years in school learning how to draw. All right, this here is the front of your car. Now, if it's a rear-wheel drive car, what you have is that the back axle over here is what's driving your car. And the way you can tell is that that's your transmission, this is your engine, and it's located in front, and your fan belts and your fan is up here in the front. The back tires drive your vehicle. The engine is mounted front to back. Your fan belts and your fan is in the front. This is how you can tell if it's a front rear-wheel drive car. If it's a front-wheel drive car, let's draw the same car. Put the front wheels on. This is the front of our vehicle again. The engine and transmission is mounted sideways. And your fan belt is up on the side of the vehicle here. And the front wheels here now power, and not only do they power, they steer your vehicle itself.
Welcome back to You're the Expert. I'm your host, Bill Polchinski. It's the second hour of our program, and we're going to be talking about leisure activities. And we have with us, once again, our two pros, tennis pro Rick Elstein and golf pro Tom Berry. Welcome back, guys. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Bill.
How was your week?
Good. Good.
Has your fame increased 1,000-fold?
Not quite 1,000-fold, but
100-fold?
Maybe some percentage there.
That's good. Were people mobbing you at the club?
Not me. How about you?
Well, there was a couple.
Yeah, I saw people mobbing him.
See that? That's great. Well, people wrote in and said, what about these pros you have? What do they know? What really do they know? Well, feast your eyes on this, kids. Rick Elstein's Tennis Kinetics with Martina Navratilova. Now, who is Martina Navratilova, and what do we need to know about her?
It's the first time anyone's ever asked a question like that. Usually they say, who's Rick Elstein? With Martina Navratilova.
I know who you are. You're our pro. You're our expert.
Martina Navratilova is #1 in the world for many years, and I had the privilege of working with her from about 1982 and 1983. And this Tennis Kinetics book was written as a new way to learn tennis. And it's actually 10 years ago. I'm glad you don't get too close up on this picture. There's no gray hair and no wrinkles there, but it's 10 years old.
We can airbrush that in. Don't worry about that.
And Tennis Kinetics is a type of instruction in which you learn quicker because you learn to play the way you move on the court. And it's based on motion. Try to get past the type of learning where the pro feeds the ball to you and then you go out and play somebody else and you can't keep the ball in play because they're playing to beat you and the pro is playing to help you. Mm-hmm. So Tennis Kinetics teaches you to play the game the way it's played and not in a false environment. And we've been very successful for 10 years. Haven't written another book though.
That's all right.
I think one book is enough for every 10 years, but the program is very successful. We teach a couple thousand people a year, including children and adults, between our Syasa clubs and our Roslyn clubs.
And working with Martina, what was that like? I mean, is that pressure or what?
Yeah, it's very exciting, but it's also a lot of pressure every match. I mean, she was #1 when I started working with her. So
nothing like starting at the top.
Yeah, it's great in that respect, except there's no place to go but down. So there's a lot of pressure. Every match was a lot of pressure. She was great to work with, very honest person, extremely talented, very coachable. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Wow. So you are the pro's pro here.
Well, you're saying that.
My word is law. Rick Elstein, the pro's pro. You heard it here on You're the Expert. What are you going to show us tonight?
We're going to both be demonstrating power.
Yeah, how to generate it.
How to generate power the right way and mistakes that people make in an attempt to generate power.
All right, do we have video of that, or you're going to do it right here, live and on purpose?
Well, I'm going to simulate it right here, live and on purpose.
Simulated, okay. You want to show us what you got here? Generating power.
The big mistake that amateurs make in an effort to generate power is that they swing from the hand, and what they're really trying to do is capture a feel of power. I know that this happens in golf also. Yeah, they hit a ball real well, you get this great feeling. And then what happens is you try to capture that a little bit too soon, so instead of using the body properly, the amateur ends up swinging across his body and mostly with the arm in an effort to capture that great hit, which everybody gets.